would there ever be a chance that Taylor's done some acting too? Could you guys
Say
ever
again?
Taylor's done some acting too.
She
Any
has,
chance
yeah.
you guys would ever do anything together?
It's not planned at the moment, but who knows?
I know, it'd be great. We got easy chemistry. That would be the
There you
big
go.
thing, right? I know. I will enjoy yourself tonight.
Thank you.
And for a fortnight.
William Bowery is Joe, as we know. And Joe plays piano beautifully, and he's always just playing and making things up and kind of creating things.
So check this out. Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce seem to be going strong, despite everyone keeping their eyes peeled and wanting to know all the deets, but guess who's not thrilled about Taylor moving on? Yep, her ex, Joe. Seems like Joe's still holding a torch for Taylor, and he's not happy about her new flame. Instead of dealing with his feelings like a grown-up, Joe decided to throw shade at Travis Kelce out in the open, which is kind of out of character for him, because he usually keeps things private. Needless to say, Taylor wasn't having any of it, and she got pretty mad at Joe. But why did Joe go off like that? And what's got him so riled up about Travis Kelce? Is it just plain old jealousy? And what's Taylor got to say about all this drama? Well, stick around because today's video will spill all the juicy details. Don't even think about clicking away before we spill the tea to the very end. Let's rewind to 2016 when Joe Alwyn and Taylor Swift kicked off their romance. By 2017, they were all in, publicly declaring their love. Now, this was a big deal because they were on different levels of fame. Taylor, she's had her fair share of high-profile relationships, but with Joe, it seemed kind of like she was trying something new, going low-key. Joe, on the other hand, wasn't exactly a household name before Taylor came into the picture, and folks couldn't help but wonder who decided to keep their love under wraps. Many fans think it was Joe pushing for privacy. See, Taylor's past relationships were like front-page news, so this was totally different for her. They managed to keep things hush-hush for months, dropping little hints here and there in interviews or Taylor's songs. Back then, they figured it was a savvy move to keep their love bubble safe from prying eyes, which is pretty rare in celeb circles nowadays. Their relationship seemed solid for years, and Joe even played a big part in shaping Taylor's music. Take albums like Reputation, Lover, and Evermore that dropped while they were together. Those showed a whole new side of Taylor, deeper and more grown up than ever before. And tracks like Delicate and Call It What You Want are prime examples of that vibe. Taylor's been pretty vocal about finding love again, and her relationship with Joe Alwyn was a big muse for her. But the clearest nods to their love story came through in tracks like Evermore and Folklore on her album. Taylor used to jam out to pop tunes with all the bells and whistles, but these new ones, they're more laid back, kinda indie and alternative. Now, I'm not claiming to be a music guru, but that's what I've picked up on. No doubt about it, even though they tried to keep things under wraps, there was always gossip swirling around. Every now and then, photographers managed to snag a few shots of them, but unlike Taylor's previous romances, she wasn't exactly shouting about this one from the rooftops. Their public outings were few and far between. For years, they gave off this vibe like they were solid as a rack. People even started guessing they might tie the knot and start a family someday. But then, bam, early 2023 hit and the bombshell dropped. Taylor and Joe had split, and it wasn't pretty. So when they called it quits, they did it in the same low-key style they started with. No big announcements or airing dirty laundry in public. But lucky for us nosy fans, some insiders started spilling the tea on what went down and why they split. The juiciest scoop? Apparently their different levels of fame drove a wedge between them. So according to the grapevine, Joe had a tough time grappling with the fact that Taylor Swift was way more famous than him, and that his own success was kinda riding on her coattails. He got pretty ticked off seeing headlines like how Taylor Swift turned Joe Alwyn from a regular Bristol guy into a Hollywood A-lister. Instead of having a heart-to-heart with Taylor about it, he let his anger brew. Word on the street is, the fame gap eventually drove a wedge between them, leading to their split. Taylor wasn't exactly sailing smooth after that. She was visibly struggling, shedding tears during performances of songs she'd written with or for Joe. But then, just when you thought she was down for the count, she was spotted cozying up to Matt Healy. Unfortunately, that didn't last long. Matty got caught up in some serious trouble and they called it quits. If they'd stuck it out, it could have seriously messed with Taylor's career. On the flip side, Joe took a different approach of dealing with the breakup. He pretty much vanished from the scene for a while, going off the grid. When a paparazzi finally spotted him in London about 2 months later, he still looked pretty down in the dumps. But then the spotlight shifted back to Taylor's love life, especially since she was on her Eras tour. Things took a turn in October of 2023 when NFL player Travis Kelce stepped onto the scene. Word has it, Travis had a thing for Taylor for a while, but was too chicken to make a move. But when his team, the Kansas City Chiefs, started winning, he found his courage and invited her to one of his games. And guess what? She said yes and showed up. You can imagine the gossip mill went into overdrive, especially when Taylor started showing up to more and more games with Travis. She even brought along some of her buddies at one point. So a few weeks down the line, they were caught hanging out together in public for the first time. And unlike her hush-hush thing with Joe Alwyn, Taylor didn't exactly try to keep this new fling under wraps. Every time they stepped out together, it was like they were putting on a show for the cameras. But hey, at that point, nobody was sure if they were just tight buds or something more. Though let's be real, most folks were pretty convinced that they were an item, just waiting for the official stamp. And from then on, they were joined at the hip more and more. Taylor even tagged along to Travis's Halloween bash at his Kansas pad, and that pretty much shut up the skeptics. But it wasn't until one night in Buenos Aires, Argentina, that everything clicked into place. Travis decided to catch Taylor's concert on her Eras tour, and she switched up a lyric from a song she'd originally penned for Joe Alwyn. People were pumped about it, and right after the show, she went straight to Travis and planted a big ol' public smooch on him, sealing the deal on their relationship. Now, while most folks were cheering them on, her ex, Joe Alwyn, wasn't exactly doing cartwheels of joy. It's pretty clear Joe wasn't thrilled about Taylor moving on, especially since he's been keeping quiet about the whole thing. But what really got under his skin was Taylor tweaking a song she'd written for him and giving it a new spin for her new beau. Instead of calling out Taylor, though, he started throwing shade at Travis, basically hinting that he's just the latest in line for Taylor. Fans weren't having it, and they saw it as jealousy and bitterness, plain and simple. Online users couldn't help but burst into laughter, with one fan saying, "I can't believe Joe's throwing shade at Travis like that. It's pretty rude, and let's be real, Taylor's relationship is about quality, not just about how long it lasts." Joe's being a bit petty, another chimed in. Joe should chill out with his attitude towards Travis. He seemed happy with Taylor, but then there was a voice of reason in the mix saying, okay, let's not blow this out of proportion. Joe's comments were out of line, but we don't know all the ins and outs of their connections. Still, Joe's actions disappointed more than just the fans. And Taylor, well, she's the media pro, right? She could have called out Joe directly, but she chose to shield Travis instead, which seems to be what the fans wanted. So instead of coming out swinging, Taylor took a more graceful approach, emphasizing her genuine love for Travis and her commitment to stand by him, not just because of his fame. It's a move that really shows her sincerity in their relationship. Some fans had been speculating that Taylor was only with Travis for the publicity, but come on, Taylor's already a huge star. Her concerts sell out like hotcakes, so that argument doesn't really hold water for me. And of course, the fans were quick to weigh in on social media. One fan wrote, "Taylor's sticking up for Travis is everything. It shows how much she values their bond. She's really grown and isn't afraid to stand up for what's important to her." Another said, "Props to Taylor for handling this situation so well." It's not just about Taylor standing up for Travis. She's also drawing a line when it comes to how her relationships are perceived. Personally, I'm scratching my head wondering why Joe would say something like that, especially if their breakup was more of a mutual decision rather than a big blowout. Maybe Joe was holding out hope for a reunion with Taylor, but who knows? I'd love to hear your take on this whole situation. Should Joe just let Taylor and Travis be happy and move on, or should Taylor address his outburst? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and that's going to be all for today, folks. If you want to keep yourself updated on the latest binge-worthy celebrity gossip, click that subscribe button and notification bell for more videos like this.